Welcome to the Aerospace Museum of California. We are going to start over here at the General Samuel Phillips exhibit. General Phillips was a United States Air Force general who served as director of NASA's Apollo program from 1964 to 1969. The Apollo 11 mission was accomplished in July of 1969. This was the American spaceflight that first landed humans on the moon, and the Apollo Lunar Modular Eagle, flown by Commander Neil Armstrong and pilot Buzz Aldrin. Here we have a replica spacewalk suit worn by Buzz Aldrin, a scale model of the Apollo 11 Saturn V rocket, and a yellow astronaut suit along with a little space shuttle model. This is the Aerojet Orbital Maneuvering System. After the space shuttle reached orbit, two of these small engines would steer the 230,000-pound shuttle as it circled the Earth. This is the Titan IV LR-87 Stage 1 engine for launching space shuttles from Earth. This is the Titan IV Stage 2 engine, and it generates 105,000 pounds of thrust. This T-28B Trojan Cockpit Procedures Trainer became the standard initial flight trainer for the U.S. Air Force and Navy beginning in 1950. Here we have the F-106 Cockpit Procedures Trainer that was used to give pilots a realistic experience with the layout and operation systems of the F-106 sophisticated flight. And last we have the F-111 crew escape capsule. If the plane experienced complete failure and became uncontrollable, the complete cockpit section of the F-11 separates from the plane's fuselage and lowers safely to Earth by parachute. This is a small drone helicopter that was used as a long-range anti-submarine weapon. It was used on ships that would be otherwise too small to operate full-size helicopters. The controller in the Combat Information Center would fly to the target's location and release weapons such as torpedoes using semi-automated controls and radars. This is the Clay Lacy's exhibit featuring one of over 300 aircrafts used to bring astrovision cinematography to life. This was the world's premier aerial photography system. Clay Lacy was experienced in filming in commercial, military, and general aviation aircraft and had over 53,000 flying hours.
Okay, you're on the count of three. I'd like to give you add power and accelerate straight ahead.
The Blue Angels are a flight demonstration squadron of the United States Navy. Formed in 1946, The unit is the second oldest formal acrobat team in the world. This is the F-101B Voodoo. It was used as a strategic defense aircraft used during the Cold War. The Air Force controlled a majority of the U.S. nuclear weapons and stood on high alert, ready to respond to potential acts of war by the Soviet Union or other American adversaries. The F-86L Sabre Dog was an all-weather interceptor used during the Cold War. It had a retractable rocket tray under the fuselage containing 24 air-to-air rockets. The CH-3E Jolly Green Giant, used as an amphibious transport helicopter for the U.S. Navy during the late 1950s. It was a rescue and cargo helicopter used in the Vietnam War and could land and take off from the water in emergency operations. It got its nickname the Jolly Green Giant as they were thrilled to see the big green helicopter coming to their rescue. The A-10 Thunderbolt II was built for the U.S. Air Force in 1972, and after nearly 50 years of service, this highly effective attack aircraft is still flying in support of ground operations in the Middle East. The Lockheed T-33A T-Bird. This was the first American supersonic jet trainer. It was the only jet trainer in the U.S. Air Force from 1948 to 1957. And this is the F-80C Shooting Star. It was the first operational fighter jet in 1944. Although the Shooting Star did not see combat in World War II, it was the first American fighter jet to see action during the Korean War. And here is the F-102A Delta Dagger. It was the world's first supersonic all-weather interceptor. The Delta name comes from the triangle-shaped wing resembling the Greek uppercase letter Delta. It entered service with the U.S. Air Force in 1956. The A-1E Skyrider flew as a close air support for the attack bombers during the Korean and Vietnam Wars. The aircraft was famous for being able to take hits and keep flying thanks to its armor plating around the cockpit. And here is the Convair F-106 Delta Dart. It is the ultimate interceptor. Today, the F-106 still holds the record as the fastest single-engine fighter in the world, having achieved over 1,525 miles per hour. It was the cornerstone of the strategic air defense of the United States from 1959 to 1987. And here we have a Boeing 727. And this is the C-119G flying boxcar. It was used in the 1940s as a specialized military freight aircraft for the U.S. Army. In this case, we have memorabilia and artifacts from the 1940s. And as we move on to other items in the cases, they get more current as aviation technology moves forward.